Well, I'm not really a native New Mexican, but my kids are, and my grandkids are. I know some of you because I've been in your classrooms as a poet in the schools with New Mexico Culture Net. I also know some of you from Santa Fe Girls School way back when. When Julie Hosted's class was talking about what is a poet laureate, this was her poetry class, somebody said, poet warrior. And I thought, oh my God, I'm a warrior. And I thought that was a lot better than saying I'm the city poet for 2 years. In some of your classes, I had you calculate how many days you have been alive. And we found out that I have been alive 23,000 days, give or take. And you have been alive around 6,000 days. I spent about a week working on this, on a talk. I read it to my husband to see how long it was, and it was so boring. We both wanted to just cry and get divorced before it was over. It was terrible. So I ripped it up, and I started over like 2 days ago. And I'm going to give you some wisdom tips, about a dozen wisdom tips, and then a poem that I wrote for you and you. Number one, when I accepted this job to be your speaker, we had a house guest called 6 Foot Tall Girl. She is called 6 Foot Tall Girl because she is 6 feet tall, and that's her email. She's a school teacher, and I said, what do I have to say? She said, talk about fame. That in our culture, people think fame is the goal and the measure of success. 6 Foot Tall Girl said, not that many people are going to be famous, but keep doing what you love to do. She said, tell them they will have ordinary days in their lives, and that's okay, and that you need to decorate the ordinary. That's what she said. Number two, there's a poet, Naomi Shihab, actually this is still number one. She wrote a poem, Naomi Shihab Nye, an Arab-American poet, wrote about fame. The river is famous to the fish, the boot is famous to the earth, more famous than the dress shoe, which is famous only to floors. I want to be famous the way a pulley is famous or a buttonhole. Not because it did anything spectacular, but because it never forgot what it could do. So thanks to 6 Foot Tall Girl, I want to tell you, you are famous if you remember what you can do. Today, you are famous to your family, your friends, and your teachers. Two, my friend Cecile was also a house guest, and she said, every day do 3 things for the good. Whatever impossible thing you want to do, if you want to be an artist, if you want to save the planet, if you want to rent an apartment, you want to be enlightened like Buddha, do 3 things towards that. All these small steps accumulate. 3, my oldest daughter. Whenever she comes up against challenges in life, she tells me, Mom, this is my soul's path. I have chosen it, and I'm learning what I need to learn. In that way, she takes responsibility for her own life, which is exactly what Oprah would have said on her final show if I'd been able to watch it instead of writing this speech. 4, my husband now wants to be called 6 Foot Tall Man. And he started leaving me notes around the house with advice so that he could get into the speech as well. He said, think about everyone as your angel, that they have a message. And he said, this is why I don't yell at other drivers. I think sometimes other drivers may be yelling at my husband, 6 Foot Tall Man, but he didn't put that in. He also brought me a note from our refrigerator that said, marriage is the hardest yoga, be householder saints, and he should know after 40 years. He reminded me that one of my college friends who was a musician said, don't make me uptight in my own house, which I like, if you have a house guest. And the other one was from a poem of mine. He quoted me, and I said, worry is reverse prayer. I need that line because I have a black belt in worry, especially about my kids. 5, once I heard the Dalai Lama speak in your school gymnasium. It was years ago. He's the spiritual leader of Tibet. This is one of his teachings. The Dalai Lama said, never give up. No matter what is going on, never give up. Develop the heart. Too much energy in your country is spent developing the mind instead of the heart. Develop the heart. Be compassionate. Not just to your friends, but to everyone. Work for peace in your heart and in the world. Work for peace. And I say again, never give up no matter what is happening. No matter what is going on around you, never give up. 6, I am terrible at making decisions. I never know what to do. But the great baseball player Yogi Berra said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. You do have choices, you will have choices, you have made choices. The poet Robert Frost said, "Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler." Then he ends by, "I took the one less traveled on, and that has made all the difference." Writer Carlos Castaneda said, "Does this path have heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use." In each of your next 10,000 days, I wish you make choices that serve you best. 7, imagination. This is a quote from the poet laureate of the whole United States. I met him. His name is W.S. Merwin. This is about imagination. "It is impossible to conceive of a human being without the imagination. It is also what makes us able to share the distress of the homeless in Darfur and the distress of the homeless on the next block." Imagination produced Albert Schweitzer and Mother Teresa. It also produced Mozart and Shakespeare, Blake and Vermeer. That's the imagination. It's infinite, it's unpredictable, it's a wonder, it's a miracle. It's what we have to live by, and if we live by something else, we're wronging ourselves, said W.S. Merwin. Now, at Harvard's graduation, C.K. Rowling, that miraculous writer of Harry Potter who arose from poverty and single motherhood, said, "Imagine